thoroughly enjoyed my trip to Nebraska. So, anybody see any good movies lately?
Not really, no.
Oh. Read any good books?
Nope.
No.
Nope. Anything new with corn?
Oh, yeah, corn.
Corn.
Oh,
Yeah, corn. You bet.
Corn, yeah.
Corn is always...
Come a-running, boys, don't you hear the noise? Like the thunder in the sky. How it rolls along in a good old song from the sons of Nebraska. Now it's coming near with a rising cheer that'll sweep all foes away. So with all our vim, we're bound to win, and we're going to win today. In the days of old, Johnny Vanderbold would just take that ball in hand, and with Benedict right in front of him, they would set sail for the land. Then Doc Eager too, with a chosen few, would be all round everywhere. And before they'd quit, they would calmly sit down behind that goalpost there. For Nebraska and the Scarlet, for Nebraska and the Cream, though they come through many battles, our colors still are seen. And so in contest and in victory, we will wave them for the team. And we'll always stir a Cornhusker, the Scarlet and the Cream.
Family Guy spot for you?
Good to go. Okay, what's up, everybody? I'm Matt.
I'm Jimmy.
We're two average guys. Glad to have you here. Good to be back.
Outdoors today.
Outdoors. It's nice out. Hell of a day here in Omaha. If you're not in Omaha, missing out on some really good weather. But welcome to the show, Casey. I see you're already here. Beautiful Family Guy interest. We like it too. Very well done by Brian there. He knows we're Family Guy fans. So, hey, glad to hear Donnie. Glad to have you on the show. A couple things we want to say real quick before we get going. So we got one winner today that we're going to announce for a Halloween giveaway. So we had about 70, just over 70 entrants for our Halloween giveaway. So not too bad. We decided we're going to do 2 hats if we got to 100 giveaways or 100 entrants, but we only had just over 70. So, feeling kind of gracious. We're going to do 2 giveaways today.
All right.
So we're going to do one at the, Brian, do you have the ability to do 2 for the wheel? Or did you already do 1?
Got a wheel for each. So.
Okay. All right. So if we did 2 for the hats, you can do that? Or did you already get a winner?
I already have a winner.
Okay. So we'll do a second one at the end of the show. So the second giveaway, the way that's going to work, anybody who comments on the show today, you can leave 1 comment, 2 comments, 3 comments, however many
100 comments.
You get loaded in for every comment you made, and you get entered in for a drawing. Second drawing, we're going to have 2 winners. We're going to have a hat giveaway, and we're going to have a tumbler giveaway as well. So 2 average guys tumbler. So pretty awesome. Nice to have. So welcome to the show. We're going to get going here and talk about Husker football. Before we do that, again, thank you to Backswing Brewing for the beer. We got our Reds. We got our Golden Ale, Bug Eater Golden Ale. So thank you so much for the beer. Glad to have you guys as a partner. All right, we're going to do our first giveaway. Brian's going to pull up the wheel, and he's going to do our first hat giveaway for Halloween. So, Brian, kick it in when you're ready.
What do we get? What do we get? Come on, big money, big money, big money. No whammy, no whammy.
Go. So our winner is Mike Collier, it looks like. Mike, congratulations on winning the first
Congrats,
hat.
brother.
I believe you're over on Instagram, if I remember correct. So for those of you that don't know, we are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. We're on not on Twitter or X. We are on TikTok and also on YouTube. So give us a follow. All right. So Mike Collier, congratulations. We will reach out to you to get the details where we can send the hat. So
Awesome.
congratulations.
Congrats, brother.
Stay tuned. We're going to have another giveaway, 2 more giveaways at the very end of the show. So welcome aboard, everybody. All right. So Husker football, Jimmy.
We got to talk about it?
I guess we do. So here,
Yeah.
here, silver lining. We're 5-4. We still have a winning record.
I know.
At this point, the last however many years since Riley's last year, we've been in a losing record at this point in the season. So silver lining, we are above 500 still.
And Iowa beats Northwestern 10-7.
Field goal to win it.
You know, we're
52-yarder.
We got to find a way to win one more game to get bowl eligible for sure.
Well, it's not even finding a way to win the game. It's finding a way to not lose the game.
That's true.
Because we talked about it last week with the amount of fumbles that we had in that game. If we didn't fumble that much, we could have scored more points, and we still won the game. We got lucky, and then multiple people on here said, you know what, we keep that up, then it's going to be really hard to win any more games.
Well,
we're going to lose every single game. And guess what happened yesterday? We turned the ball over, and we lost.
You know, our defense has been our backbone all year, and they didn't have their best day. I mean, looking back at it yesterday, I think that was probably the worst complete game we played all season. Yes, Michigan beat us 45-7. That's a different ball game.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, just I want to say Rule said that the crispness wasn't there, and that's very well stated. Like, we just weren't crisp in any area yesterday.
No.
And quite frankly, I think we've got to give Chubba a shot if he's healthy.
So let's start on the offensive side of the ball. So starting with quarterback. To me, there's no doubt in my mind that Heinrich Harburg has a lot of fight. He has a lot of heart. He's not trying to give the ball away. We've talked about this before. He's indecisive, and
Right.
he doesn't make
He hesitates.
He doesn't make quick enough decisions
For
to
sure.
benefit the team. And what does on the backside, on the flip side of that, it actually hurts us.
Well, and you're talking about an experienced offensive lineman, freshman wide receivers. I mean, offense as a whole is just inexperienced. And Harburg himself, too. I mean, I've heard he wasn't even getting reps as a third stringer, the last couple of years. But something needs to change because every drive looks the same. I mean, we run the ball on first down for a yard, or we drop back and throw a long bomb. I mean,
and so he
very inconsistent.
He was very, very off on all of his passes. He overthrew every receiver.
Except when he did sling one, hit him right in the hands, and they dropped it.
We had a few drops, a few bad drops, which didn't help. But he was off his game. When your quarterback's off his game as much as he was, it makes it really hard to win a game. It really does. Your whole offense is off cue at that point. You don't find any mojo, you don't find any groove, and we never got into groove yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, Emmett Johnson and Anthony Grant both had decent runs at times, and it was like one nice run, maybe back to back, and then I guess you open it up for a play action, but it just there wasn't, like I said, consistency.
100%. 100%.
You know, we're relying on long plays, long chunk plays that have really been the heart of the offense this year. Yeah. And that's not really a recipe for success to win games.
Yeah. Well, and I think, again, aside from Harburg, one thing we didn't do, you're looking at, we've talked about Marcus Satterfield. I'm not a fan of his play calling. I really think we do a poor job of playing to the strengths of our offense, which, yes, there are strengths of our offense, but we ran the ball pretty well early on. Mm-hmm. We had a run. I think our first possession, we ran the ball for like 6-7 yards on the first down. Second down, we do a little swing pass, and it just wasn't a good idea. And we had one blocker. It was caught. It was just a loss of like 3 yards because we had one guy out there blocking, and they had multiple guys covering the play. So that just doesn't make sense to me as to why you have that type of play when they have that defensive coverage. And as a quarterback, is it your job to audible that play and find something different? I don't know.
Agreed.
But I felt like we ran the ball pretty well early on, and we stopped running the ball.
Well, and obviously it's a Big Ten road game. You're playing a team with an interim head coach. Mm-hmm. A lot of second stringer, third stringers. They were playing two different quarterbacks. I mean, we won the month of October, but you know, those guys must have thought a little bit of, hey, this team has lost 5-6 in a row, whatever it was. we should be able to win this game. And
Yep.
Michigan watched film because they played really good defense.
Yeah.
And obviously they figured that Harburg can't really throw it, so they stacked the box most of the game, and we couldn't. Eventually, we were able to run the ball, and so they came in with a good game plan, and
they executed,
and
we didn't.
And we did not.
Dan, as you mentioned, Dan, I think you're the one last week we talked about turning the ball over. We're not going to win another game, but we do what we did last week. And again, we had 4 turnovers again.
Well, and he threw an interception in the end zone. They got called back for holding. I mean, we turned the ball over a lot.
Yeah, we did, and the couple fumbles towards the end of the game were not good for us. That killed us. We had the fact that we still had a chance to win the game was amazing because with the amount of turnovers and that last fumble, we still had another chance to go down and win the game, and we just, it just didn't happen. And again, I have to disagree with the offensive line hate, and here's why. Are they great? No. Are they losing us games? No. They're not holding. We don't see a lot of false starts. They're not undisciplined. They're more disciplined this year than I think we've seen in probably 4 or 5, 6 years.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most disciplined lines that we've had, to where we're not making dumb penalties to give the team an opportunity. We opened plenty of holes yesterday on the line for running backs. Our running backs don't cut very well. They didn't find the holes very well. They don't cut early enough. Harburg had to scramble very few times. He doesn't know how to get away from pressure when it did come.
No,
and I think that's what really killed us yesterday. It's not our offensive line that's losing us games, but are they great? No. Are they improved? Yes, but they didn't lose us. They have not lost us a game this year.
No, and I mean, when Harburg puts his head down and runs, I mean, you could see it. He had that long run that set up the last touchdown we scored, but he's so hesitant. And even on the design runs, it's like just a step slow, or just like that 1 step second is just behind a little bit. And, when he does not have any options, when he's out there with no options, he waits just a second too long to start running. And then by that point, he's either sacked or barely gets back to the line of scrimmage when he could get 3 to 5 yards.
And one of the times yesterday, he went down on the ground. He didn't even get tackled. He just went down. Yeah. He started act like he started to take off. He just fell. But those were one of the times where it started to collapse. And instead of taking off, he waited still longer than he needed to before going down. Again, he just kind of fell down. But
well, and I know they talked about this week about him sliding and giving himself up instead of holding on for too long and fumbling, getting the ball knocked out or fumbling. So that might have been in his head a little bit.
Maybe. But again, all the fumbles last week, interceptions this week, we got to protect the ball. Brian, good question. Talking about our offense coordinator, is he inept, or do we have players who just continue to make the same mistakes?
Or both.
I think both. I don't think our offense coordinator just designs the game well enough for us to win, and we don't make adjustments in the second half. You cannot, to me, for Heinrich Harburg, who has a sidearm throw, you cannot run a receiver across the middle of the field. You have to use your tight ends more, and we don't do a good job of using our tight ends as much as we probably should. We have 2 that are very good.
Or it seems forced when we do.
Exactly. And so it's a second or third option rather than your first option. And so we're not using our tight ends to their strengths. We have wide receivers who, to me, I think are very good, very skilled, but we cannot get them the ball because when we go deep, he's overthrowing them or not throwing it on target. And when we go shorter, crossing patterns, he's throwing behind them to where it makes it harder to catch the ball.
And they're inexperienced, so I mean, it is what it is. One kind of frustrating thing was I understand why Billy Kemp was returning punts because we fumbled punt returns last week. And so it was just sure hand, we're going to catch the ball. But, I mean, he's catching the ball with nobody within 15, 20 yards of him and calling a fair catch because he's hurt. He's injured. He's just back there to catch the ball.
Yeah.
That was kind of frustrating because we could have flipped some field position or got us in position to get some points on the board. But again, you got to go sure-handed guy. I get it. Special teams were not great yesterday.
Man, I tell you what, again, you mentioned Billy Kemp. The only reason why he was in there was catch the ball.
Yeah,
the only reason. The one time he didn't come in was when Tommy Hill came in because they were further back in their end of the field, and we knew we were going to get an opportunity to throw it.
we needed to get in field position wise to score some
catching
points.
The ball inside if you're at the 10-yard line, if it goes over your head, don't catch it.
And
he did that three or four times in the game.
He caught it at the 6.
Stop doing that. We've done that for like 6, 7, 8 years, And it drives me absolutely insane. We've talked about on the show many times. Drives me insane. Stop catching the damn ball if you're at the 10-yard line or inside the 10. Let it go. Just
If they
let
pin it at
go.
the 1, good for them.
That's a lucky ass bounce. If it ends up behind your head and it stays inside the 10, that's lucky. All those balls are going out.
Yep.
Especially
Especially low kind of line drive kicks.
Yeah.
No hang time. They're not gonna bounce back. They're gonna go forward. They're gonna go into the end zone. So anyway.
So Joel, we do need to remember. So yes, I believe Rule knows what he's doing. I have nothing against Matt Rule, what his plan is, what his process is. Patience, absolutely. And yesterday was one of those games where, Michigan State wanted it more. They played like they wanted it more. Their defense was stacked. Their offensive line played really well. We only got a couple sacks, I think. They came to play, and we came to not lose, and we ended up losing because we were too hesitant to do anything better. So
agreed.
Quick slants, kind of Ross, kind of like I mentioned with the quick slants. I think it's hard to do with the sidearm quarterback. He's not Mahomes. Mahomes can make some of those plays. Other NFL guys can make some of those throws, but that's not their normal throw. This is his normal throw unless he's throwing deep, and I think that's where we are. That's where we're in desperate need of a quarterback that can really hit our receivers.
We definitely need to hit the portal hard.
Yeah, and
off season.
And the question is, you mentioned Purdy. I was calling for Purdy in the second half, but not towards the end of the game. At that point, it was too late. You don't take Harburg at that point. Let him.
We were watching with some people, and they were like, "Did you put Sims in?" And I'm like, "No, you don't put Sims in. If you put anybody, you put Purdy, but they're coming in cold.
Yeah,
and then you end up losing, and then you question why'd you bring him in.
Yeah, it's almost like
it's
almost like you die on your own hill. You created this mess. You're going to live with it. Yep. Just like a lot of times in pitching in baseball. If you're in trouble, a lot of times they wait and take you out. They let you finish the inning because guess what? You're not going to win the game, or you're in deep enough trouble. Just let you finish. And that's part of just building yourself up as a player. And I think that's kind of Harburg as well.
And I like Harburg. I'm not trying to harp on the kid.
Yeah.
He's won a lot more games than quarterbacks for us in the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's for sure. I don't know if we're play calling to his strengths necessarily. Yeah. I mean, he's not really a thrower, and he's not really a pocket passer, and we're having him drop back like that's to his strengths, and that's not really the way I see him. And nothing was working, so I get it.
And here's what I don't understand too. Again, we're stick to the offense for a second. We'll switch over to defense here in a minute. What I don't understand is, one, when he gets the ball, when he gets the snap, he's going back like 7-8 yards on his drop. He's going back way too far. And then when you take those sacks, you're already 10 yards. You're losing 10 yards. And so he's not his step backs are not right. I think someone needs to work with him on his 2-step, 3-step drop back. His mechanics just aren't there, which throws off your game.
I mean, even the announcers during the game yesterday, I mean, there was a play or two where they showed replays and they were like, his footwork was really off here. And it's like, I mean, when you slow mote like that, big time. Just something that, it's a young guy. I get it. First year coach, all new coaches, really. Sorry, it's a little loud. Maybe you can hear it. Maybe you can't. But I don't know. We'll get there. I mean, it's still year one.
Yeah. And Dan, you mentioned, Satterfield, who's not let go. I don't think he will, only because it's his first year. He's also working with a very patched up offense. We had three
offensive starters from the start of the season.
Two wide receivers go down early in the year with season-ending injuries. 2 running backs go down, season-ending injuries.
3 offensive linemen.
Like, we are working.
Second-string quarterback.
Billy Kemp is out for a couple weeks, so we're working with a lot of guys that are getting their first time playing. I still think there's a lot of talent on this team.
Big time.
I think the 3
freshman wide receivers,
Doss, Lloyd, and Coleman, are
awesome.
going to be 3 of the best in the Big Ten.
They're really, really showing something for being first-year guys.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep. So, Ross, good point. Again, it is patchwork, not just in the offseason, but in the beginning of the season when we have so many guys go down. And you look at so I don't have anything else about the offense. Again, I thought we should have ran the ball more. We didn't do that enough early on. We abandoned it early in the fourth quarter. I think it was about 10 to 12 minutes left, and we decided, hey, we just got to start throwing the ball.
Yeah.
At that point, we were down 10. We didn't need to just start throwing. We still could have ran the ball more often. We still had 3 timeouts, and we stopped. That was frustrating.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we hadn't been moving the ball, so I get it. Time was not in our favor, but we still ended up scoring and having a chance to win the game, which was quite frankly unbelievable.
Unbelievable. But I did hear that we are looking at a portal quarterback out of portal. I just can't talk sometimes. Quarterback from Tulane potentially for a portal quarterback.
Tulane's ranked in the top 25.
Yep.
College football player.
Couple questions we're going to get to here on the show. We'll hit the referees here a second. Don't worry, guys. Do not porthole. Thanks, Daddy. So Brian, you had a couple questions. So first, one name that enters the portal, Arch Manning. He's not getting playing time at Texas.
And they have a redshirt freshman that played pretty well yesterday.
Yep. And Quinn Ewers, I mean, he'll be back next year.
No, I thought the same thing. And we already got one from Texas who was pretty good last year.
So we'll see. That could very well be somebody that is looked at. I don't know how good the kid is. I don't really know. But
I don't know much about him. I mean, other than he's a Manning. But I could see Rule building a pretty good relationship with him.
But at the same time, you want to bring someone in with experience.
I know.
If he's going to be a potential backup, I think that's a good opportunity. But it's also going to be, is that what he wants?
No.
So
we got to bring somebody in that's experienced.
Not Tanner Lee. Oh my God. I don't think Satterfield and Rule are on the same page. I don't. You know what was interesting yesterday? I've never seen so much fire out of Matt Rule when he just absolutely drilled into Harburg.
He was
for the
ripping
that was the interception in the end zone that got called back because of holding.
And he still ripped him.
He ripped him because it was a horrible throw.
It was.
It was
was the second time he did it where he threw to the end zone right to their guy instead of our guy that was wide open.
Yeah.
Maybe on that one he wasn't quite as wide open, but you know what I mean.
Do we try to find a pass-heavy quarterback? You know, that's never really been Nebraska football, but the way college football is nowadays, your run game is never going to be the strongest part of your game. There are teams that can, maybe one game you'll have 200, 300 yards rushing, but it doesn't come every game. You have to have a quarterback who
Big Ten's tough.
You can scramble, but you also can throw the ball. And Big Ten is tough because those defensive and offensive fronts are usually really tough. So I'd rather have a quarterback who can stay in the pocket but knows when to scramble, how to scramble. Not like a Tanner Lee who can't run. I'd rather have a guy who can get out of the pocket and run, but also can throw the ball.
You know, and that circles back to, you know, how does this season look if we have Casey Thompson?
Yeah.
Because he could drop back and throw. He could sling it. He could run if he had to. He didn't really necessarily, I don't think, want to.
No.
But he could.
I didn't want him to.
And, I mean, it would be interesting to see how this – I mean, there's probably games Harburg won that he wouldn't have. But there's games Casey would have won that Harvard didn't. So
but Brian, I absolutely glad to see a coach with fire. I mean, the fire that he shows on the fire he showed on the sideline yesterday is something I don't think we've seen from Mike Riley or Scott Frost. And we saw Scott Frost pissed off at refs, but not pissed off at his players. And that's one thing that I didn't like about Frost is he never lit the fire under his players. And Matt Rule's doing it, but he's doing it because he has the respect of his players. He's doing it knowing this is going to be on national TV. But he's doing it in a different way. And you can see how he's approached by the players when he's ripping Harburg. Harburg's shaking his head as he's coming over. He knew he screwed up.
Yes, sir.
He's smart.
Sir.
He's smart enough to know he screwed up. He's not dumb. And again, Harburg is a very talented individual, but man, we got to figure something out there. So
well, and it circles back to Bo. I mean, Bo was a little bit more intense. He was yelling at referees and players.
I've never seen a coach as intense as Bo Pelini,
I know, but
except for maybe Nick Saban.
But that's what I liked about him. I know a lot of people didn't, but that was what he talked to guys like Kenny Bell and Brandon Kinney and
Josh Williams,
those guys that played for him. That's why they loved him so much. And that's why they were as good as they were.
Absolutely.
Because they played for the guy next to him. You know, they didn't want to get yelled at by the coach. They didn't want their buddy to get yelled at, so they rallied together.
Yeah, just camaraderie. That's it. Camaraderie.
Exactly. I know that feeling.
Let's talk about the defense now. So again, the offense was frustrating enough. Now the defense, to me, was interesting about the defense. You could tell that very first drive by Michigan State, they watched film.
Oh, big time.
They gutted us.
And that's why I
sliced
said
and diced.
Props to them for coming in prepared and with a good game plan. And you said they diced us up on that first drive. I thought the next drive or two, kind of fell back into place for us.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, they just designed a really good first drive. But all in all, they picked us apart a little bit. They really came in prepared.
Yeah.
For, a bad football team, if you will, a team that was struggling, trying to find their feet, and they found it against us.
Yeah, I mean, and again, that they found a way to slice our defense up. Again, was it
no one really
not the
else
entire game, and we still held them to 3 on the first drive. But it's something that they had to get downfield, and they did really easily on our defense. We had Omar did play yesterday. He was questionable. We didn't have Princewell, which I don't think it was a big step down, but you can see we didn't get that pressure that he sometimes gets.
Cam Lenard played pretty well.
Yep.
He got some pressure.
Lenard played great. Williams played great again.
That dude is
That
insane.
dude's a stud.
He's insane.
Did we talk about him being on the scout team? Did we talk about that last week?
I believe we did. But yes, he was on the scout team, and Matt Rule said this kid needs to play.
Yeah,
he's getting.
He told Tony White he doesn't need to be on scout team. He needs to be on first team.
Yeah,
get him up there. And Williams, he's super.
And he
impressive.
was playing in like big time important spots, like big plays. He was in. Big important times of the game. He was in.
I really
that says something.
And I really don't think I think our open field tackling was still great yesterday. We had a lot of really good open field tackles. The one or two times that we didn't bring them down when we did actually wrap up, we had enough guys coming in around to make that tackle.
Right. It's not defense had a bad day, but it wasn't a bad performance necessarily.
They had a bad day compared to what we've been seeing.
What we've been seeing from them has been really, really good, really impressive.
Yep.
You're just talking 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, multiple times, giving up pass plays that got just enough yardage, or first drive they picked us apart. I mean, they weren't terrible, but they have just set a high enough standard that they didn't meet.
But even that, we gave it 20 points, and really one of those. We'll get to the rest, but one of those touchdowns wasn't a touchdown. So
it was not a touchdown.
It was not a touchdown, not a catch.
Still has not been caught yet.
But every scoring drive, like Ross says, they got chunk yards. They got big plays.
Yes.
It wasn't the short. They weren't meticulously moving up the field like you see a lot of times in the Big Ten. They got chunk yards. They got 25, 15, 20, 25-yard plays, and that's what hurt us. And that ultimately did.
And they were running the ball better than most teams have against us, minus Michigan, I guess. They were just, I don't know. I think they just had a pretty good game plan.
Yeah.
They did what they needed to do to win the game.
Yeah. And again, we kind of mentioned this, Donnie, I do think maybe we did overlook Michigan State a little bit.
I did kind of mention that.
It's a possibility, but as Nebraska and what we've seen in the last few years, we shouldn't overlook anybody.
Plus, getting to the bowl game, I don't think so. But
we did a really good job of stopping the run, though. Again, our rush defense was fantastic. I think they had one big run. They went straight up the middle, and their offensive line blocked us really well, and they went straight up the middle. But outside of that, that was their longest chunk play. I wasn't mad at our defense. Like a lot of people are like, our defense had a horrible game. They just didn't play like they had been playing the last 6 weeks. I mean, that's just the biggest 6-7 weeks. That's the biggest difference.
Yeah,
it's not because they played a bad game. They just didn't play great.
And honestly, they probably played well enough to win the game. The offense just did not.
Yeah.
And they still scored a touchdown that hasn't been caught yet.
You know what sucked? We did not get a turnover yesterday. We didn't have an interception. We didn't get a fumble recovery. We didn't cause any fumbles. The closest we had was the little trick play they had to their quarterback, number 4. When was it? No, it wasn't Omar Brown.
It was Phelan Sanford. No.
Yeah, no.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, where he knocked it out of his hands. Yep.
Yeah, it was Phelan Sanford.
Great play by Sanford there. I mean, just head on the ball. Alante Brown, DMU for your little trick play pass. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly had completely forgot that he went to Michigan State.
I did too.
Because we've talked about him for the last few years. Just waiting for him to break out. We'd have a play here, a play there, and be like, man, that's Alante Brown.
Unfortunately, he was under Scott Frost's regime.
Yeah,
so
we thought he'd break out at some point. And when he threw that pass yesterday, I'm like, they said, oh, that's Alante Brown. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the Alante Brown, number 0.
Yep.
And Yeah, I mean that set them up for points early, but
It did.
it
It
good
is
for
what it
him.
is.
I mean,
Good for
I
him.
don't hate the kid by any
Yep.
means. I mean, it's a shame he's not on our roster because he'd be playing. He'd be catching multiple passes a week.
Yep.
Right now with the amount of injuries we've had.
Yeah, that ball was very close to being tipped. Last week again, defense wasn't as good as the stats said. Yeah, we left a lot of plays.
I know Matt
We've
Rule
left a lot.
said that. He said last week that the defense didn't play as well as the stats looked. I thought the defense played better than that, but
But again, like you said, Purdue did leave a lot on the field.
they did.
I think Michigan State didn't leave anything off the field. I think they brought everything they could. They're just not that good, and we just didn't play good enough offensively to win that game.
Yeah.
But that's what it comes down to. I mean, really, offensive side of the ball, you turn the ball over as much as we did, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
It's impossible. You just can't win games like that.
Yeah, totally agree. Especially in a low-scoring game like that on the road.
It's time to talk about officiating. Well, hold on, before we get there. Special teams, we talked a little about that, but man, Bushini, awful.
Yeah, he had a rough day yesterday. And their punter was kicking 50 every time.
They had one bad punt. We had like 4 bad punts. But he gave them the ball. They had the ball on their side of the 50 twice yesterday. And again, you're putting your defense in a very tough spot as the special teams. You just can't do that.
Yeah, it was really, really tough because he's very, very inconsistent. He can kick a 55-yarder. He kick a 17-yarder back to back. And the one punt he had, he kicked it and he like spun around. And I'm like, well, that went about 13 yards.
Yep. And one of them they did get a fingertip on towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
But again, like we have to have more consistency on the special team side of the ball when we're kicking. I don't like that we lined up as if we were going to kick an onside. And instead we did like a little pooch kick, but we kicked it right at the player that was down there.
Right.
Instead of trying to kick it in the middle of the field to where we have an opportunity to go get the ball, which I think is what they wanted to do. But he kicked it right to the Michigan State guy. That was such a horrible
I don't know
I don't understand why.
In a situation like that, if you're trying to pretend like you're gonna do an onside kick, and
that's
then,
what it was.
No, I know. And then you're gonna actually kick it. When your vision goes to it, you see a figure, and that's just like, okay, I got to kick it to it. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna run up and I'm gonna fake him out, and I'm just gonna kick. But then your mind just goes to, well, I got to kick it there. Oh shoot, I kicked it right to that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
don't, but
I don't know. Maybe.
None of that made any sense to me, Jimmy, at all.
It made so much sense in my head.
You see a figure and you just want to go right there. No, I have no idea what you mean. I really don't.
Anyway.
No,
yeah,
but again, I don't understand even lining up in that way. Like plenty of time left in the game. They knew we weren't kicking an onside. That would have been the dumbest thing we could have done.
I know when we lined up, I was like, what are we doing?
No. Yes, the Band-Aid buggy's going by, Casey. Heard the sirens.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
sorry.
Again, it was frustrating. Special teams was frustrating. Offense was frustrating. Defense wasn't as good as they've been. Let's talk about the refs.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm still gonna say it was probably our worst game that we played all season. Just in every aspect. But we still could have won that game if it wasn't for the officiating. I don't typically blame a loss on the referees. My dad was a referee for 30 plus years.
And that's not why we lost.
And that's not why we lost. But
momentum.
Yeah.
We talk about the no catch in the end zone. That was not a catch. Dean Blandino was spot on again. And he said, you know what? Rules analyst, Brian loves Dean Blandino.
Yes.
He said that's not a catch. The ball, his fingertips are under, not his hand, his fingertips. That's not possession. That's not having control of the ball. He did not have control when he went down.
I had Iowa people messaging me saying, how did they call that a touchdown?
Yeah. I mean, it was not a touchdown. And so that's frustrating that got called a touchdown. They even reviewed it. The ref that comes out, he goes, and after review, the play stands. It's like, is that what you were supposed to say?
Yeah. You got somebody in your ear?
Yeah, like I don't think that was supposed to happen. But so that was brutal. And then we had a face mask that, again, we talked about the face mask that didn't get called. That almost ripped his head off.
Get called. as it happened live, it was
Yes.
pretty quick. I was like, oh, he got a face mask. And then Harburg gets up and he's kind of doing this. And then they showed that ref, the main ref, the white hat. And he said something along the lines of like, he didn't get it. No, he didn't touch it. And then they show the replay and his head got snapped back like freaking Eric Crouch against K-State.
Casey just said that the ref telling him that it wasn't a face mask. Yeah, what are you looking at? Yeah, the QB is your job, and he didn't do his job.
And there wasn't any like, it wasn't like there was pressure on him. It was not like there was a bunch of bodies around.
No,
it was wide
one
open.
guy. One guy, and you missed it. And when your neck jerks back as hard as it did, I mean, there's no way you missed that. There's no way you missed that. And I don't know, maybe face mask is something that's going to become reviewable in the future, because when something as blatant as that, I don't know how you don't call that a 15-yard line.
Well, and that's like injury-wise.
Oh yeah,
I mean that can be a pretty big, significant injury.
oh yeah.
I think it should be, or at least have a challenge for it where you can lose a timeout or something.
And it shouldn't even go down to review. You should have someone in the
Just
booth
have
that buzzes
somebody
down.
that buzzes down and says, "Hey, that was a face mask."
Which you can do that. You can do a lot of that in college football. And I don't understand why they're not using that technology. Holy crap! Before we go into anything else, yesterday in the Washington USC game, if
Did
you
not watch
watched
it.
So there was a play where they said the Washington player was short of the first down on the catch, which I'm like watching. I'm like, nah, he clearly went over the first down line.
Mm-hmm.
They showed a view right down the line, and they had a red line on the TV as if there's a laser shooting down the line exactly where the first down marker is.
Mm-hmm.
The technology is there. There's zero reason why you need to go to replay. And they went to replay.
And still they called him short?
No, he got the first down. So and it was very obvious on the replay from the red line that he was over. So I'm like, why is this use the technology to your advantage rather than increasing the timing on the games? So it was very obvious.
And to circle back on this, I mean, we'll have to read some of these comments, but the last drive we had, we threw the ball for a first down. In my opinion,
yes,
we threw the ball for a first down. He caught it. They ended up, and I'm like, why is the clock running? The clock stops at first downs and there was like 25 seconds left.
30 seconds. 30.
And they showed him short, and then they showed the catch, and he was like a yard and a half past the first down marker, and they called him a yard short. And I'm like, that just depleted the entire situation, the entire drive.
That was a great throw.
It was. And there was just so many mistakes. So many mistakes.
And the most frustrating thing about that is you don't even go and you don't stop the clock to review it. Every single game you watch in college football,
they stop the clock.
They
stop for everything
and review it. Guess what? If it's not a first down, you put the ball on the mark and clock runs on my signal for the ref. They didn't do that. The refs were so bad. That was a first down for one. The TV even moved the markers as if it was a first down.
Right. And then it was like they ended up having to move the chains back.
Yes.
And it took more time. It was just
they screwed up the end of the game. Not only that, we
could have gotten in field goal range. Just saying.
We could have. And I was excited. I'm like, Alvano's going to come in. He's going to tie the game up. I was pumped for him. But let's not only talk about that. Let's talk about the very, very obvious pass interference call. It was a tackle. The dude ran into Malachi Coleman without even looking for the ball, without even trying to catch the ball. He could have intercepted it. But instead, he just runs over. He's got a guy on his backside. Here's Coleman, guy on the backside. This guy, boom, runs into him.
And the ball goes right there.
He literally jumped into him with his butt, into his chest. How do you not call that pass interference? It was
the worst non-call I think I've seen.
Easiest pass interference call in the history of college football.
In a long time.
That was the easiest call you could have made.
One of the worst I've seen missed.
And Matt Rule, I would have gotten 30-yard penalty on that one.
Yep.
I would have been in the ear of the ref. I would have cursed him out, and then I would have gone to the other ref.
He has a little bit more resolve than you and I do, and he was like, "I'm not going to put my team in that situation."
Unbelievable how they don't call that.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny?
And then we threw an interception on the next play.
Yes. Which was
it was a terrible throw, but it's just a swing of events. Yeah. That's just the way the game went. And I know you texted one time and you said, "I just don't feel confident today." And
I did.
And I was staying positive at that point, but I felt what you felt. And it just felt that way yesterday.
Ross, that might have been the first time the announcers actually had their back for Nebraska. and said anything positive about Nebraska
Yeah,
was on that pass interference because they were god awful too.
They were talking Michigan State up, and I'm like, they're 2-6. They lost 5 or 6.
But they were also very confused on the non-first down call. They were very confused. Like
they were.
I just
because it was a first down. They'd never seen anything like that.
Again, the refs, no, they don't determine the outcome, but they can sway the momentum. And ultimately, I mean, yesterday again, we could have won that game if the refs didn't F up as much as they did.
I mean, who's to say that Michigan State doesn't score a touchdown on that drive, or that get a field goal on that drive?
Exactly.
I mean,
and who's to say we go down and score?
And they would have killed more time on the clock. So it's hard to say exactly what would have played out after that. But that ball hit the ground.
Yes.
It's still on the ground.
Yeah. This is still on the ground today. Yeah, Kara, good point. It was just a bad day all around. It really was. Well, I disagree. For Husker football, yes. For the rest of college football, Notre Dame lost. All right, that was, then we had Wisconsin, Minnesota lost.
Yeah, which is great for us. I mean, if
So
Northwestern would have won, it probably would have been best case scenario there. But
yeah, Donnie, you're right. We keep trying to say that they didn't impact the outcome of the game, but yesterday is
really
probably
did.
the first time where they could have impacted the outcome of the game, and that was
porthole.
The porthole. That was probably the most frustrating. Is the refs really did impact the game in a major way when it came to momentum swings and sustained momentum down the field and good drives, and that was a killer.
And early on too, the offense wasn't great, but we were lucking out with Michigan State's penalties because they kept holding and everything. I mean, one of our drives, we got points on the board basically because Michigan State got penalties.
Yeah.
And I mean, who's to say that we wouldn't have caught the pass, but it was probably an overthrow that we got lucky hold call on.
Yeah.
On the defensive side. So we were able to get into field goal range and get a field goal and score a touchdown, whatever. But
and I want to give a quick shout out. I think it was maybe Huntington who commented from the Hawkeye podcast.
Love Jason.
Yeah, so appreciate you guys tuning in today, and your comments so far down the way. Maybe Brian can throw it up on the screen here, but he
commented during the show today.
He did, yeah, and I missed it.
Jason,
we were just on a roll.
Let's chat, brother. This Iowa-Nebraska game could be real interesting in a few weeks.
It really could, and that's here. I'm going to pull it up here for a second. But that game, as Ross just said, that really could be the West could be determined by that game.
It really could.
It really could be, and so I'm excited to see,
especially if we can beat Wisconsin.
Yes.
I mean, shoot, if we beat Maryland and beat Wisconsin, then that's definitely going to come down to that game.
Let's see. Damn, the game was yes.
Say Jason.
I think so. Huntington, he is a Hawkeye fan.
Probably went to spam folder.
probably went into spam. That's funny. Oklahoma did lose in Bedlam, Bedlam.
OT.
That was a crazy game.
It was.
But Iowa, Iowa does have to lose, and they got a 10-7 game yesterday. Their offense was stellar once again.
I was saying, who do they got the rest of the way?
I don't know. I don't have their schedule, but they do have to lose. We do have to win out.
We definitely have to win.
So Brian Blackwell, you asked earlier, like out of the 3 remaining games, who do we feel we're going to win? Here's the thing. Just like we said after we were, 5-3, we can win every game. We can lose every game.
Yeah. We
may not win another game. Do I really feel that way? No. I absolutely feel like we're going to beat Maryland. I absolutely feel like we're going to beat Wisconsin. And I 100% believe we're going to beat those Hawkeyes or the Golden Finches, however you want to prefer them,
I think playing at home will help 2 out of the last 3. I think we can beat Maryland this next week. Wisconsin on the road.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We haven't beat Wisconsin in like 8 years.
Yeah. Iowa at home. Beat them on the road last year. So
who had minus 74 rushing yards yesterday? Is that Iowa? Okay, so you can't be real. No way.
No way.
Minus 74 yards rushing. They take that many sacks? Holy cow. Not really. But you got to be Maryland. Okay.
Oh, they did.
No, I think you're saying Maryland.
Oh, yeah.
I think we beat Maryland. I think Wisconsin, again, it's a toss-up. Iowa, again, I don't know why I feel so confident that we're going to beat Iowa again. I really don't. Maybe because we're at home. I mean, maybe that's why I feel better about this year than I did,
We
you know,
can get a
recent years.
little bit of offense going, and if our defense doesn't play like they did yesterday,
Yeah.
Iowa's got Rutgers, Illinois, and us. They play Rutgers and
Ooh, Illinois
at
could
home.
beat them.
Illinois.
Rutgers very well could too. I mean,
Illinois could win the freaking West, dude.
yeah. Jake, 100%. If we beat Iowa to go bowling, lose our next two, then we beat Iowa, I'd be 6-6. We go to a bowl game. I'd be happy. Is that what I want to happen?
So,
No.
Unfortunately, your 9-3 is not there anymore.
Shut up.
But the 7-5 is still right there.
My 7-5 prediction is still there.
7-5 still there.
Again. And once we get number 6, which we will, Jimmy and I are Stone Cold Steve Austin some beers.
All right,
Let's
do it.
It's going to be messy. It might be a little bit colder than today. Hopefully
You do it right out here.
Hopefully they win next weekend, because next weekend I think it's supposed to be decent, and then it's just going to get really cold after that.
I get my wisdom teeth out this week, so we'll see how I can do next weekend.
You don't actually have to drink any beer. It's just going on your face more than anything else.
If I get a little in me, that'd be good.
Yep. But no, I you know, it was frustrating. I think, again, you're looking at going into the season with Matt Rule. You look at what he did at Temple. You look at what he did at Baylor.
Yeah, they showed it.
One win,
two
two
wins.
wins. And now he's at Nebraska. He's already 5-4. We're above 500. We haven't been above 500 at this point in the year in quite some time. So, you know,
Should we have won yesterday? Yes.
Again,
But we've won a couple of games that we probably wouldn't have won in the past few years already this year. So 5-4 right now.
Yeah.
With a chance to win a couple of games, maybe even win the West, is better than
the chance is good. If we win our next 3 games, we beat Iowa, we can win the West. Then I don't even know if I want to watch the Big Ten West or the Big Ten championship game. But
I'm not sure anybody wants to watch the Big Ten championship
do we
game
really
this
do
year.
we really want to be there? It's a yes and no. That's the thing that sucks. It's a 50-50. You want to win the Big Ten West for the first time being in the Big Ten,
And
or the first time since being in the Big Ten.
last time,
But do you want to get
be
whooped
the
up?
West, because it's just going to be a free for all next year.
Yeah.
And we have to play what, UCLA and USC in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, but they're coming to play the Big Ten, and USC is now a 3-loss team. And Caleb Williams was crying in his mama's lap after losing to Washington, like he got spanked around yesterday, which he actually didn't even have a bad game, which is kind of funny.
They
But
lost 52-42.
yeah, I mean, that was actually a really decent game, and just, again, high-powered offense, no defense. So they're coming into a Big Ten with a lot of defense, which is going to be really interesting when you get these teams coming in. I'm interested to see what happens. I'm excited to welcome them.
Because honestly, when we came in, I thought we'd run the show, and we
And look,
obviously have not.
ooh, look what Oregon said. They said, hey, you're going to have to adjust to us. Well, we tried that once. It didn't work. Yeah, I don't know. I would. I'm curious. UCLA did lose to Arizona, so Arizona's got a couple wins on their shoulder back-to-back
They're
weeks.
6-3.
Yes.
They're not bad.
And I believe now, correct me if I'm wrong, Casey, they beat 2 ranked teams now. Their last 2
They
weeks.
beat Oregon State. Was it Oregon State? And then
I think they did.
it was Oregon State yesterday, wasn't it?
No, Oregon State beat Colorado yesterday.
Oh, that's what it was.
They beat UCLA yesterday.
Arizona beat Oregon State last week.
Yes. So, I mean, hell, that's great. That's great for them. I'm actually really happy for Arizona because, again, anytime you can take out some ranked teams, it's always fun to watch. It's very good games. We're playing some good football right now.
Yeah, the Big 12 is going to be interesting next year.
Ross, I love your positivity. Yes, we want to win the West. Again, I would love to win the West.
Yeah, I mean,
And if
I'm
we
not
get blown
saying,
out-
oh, I don't want to go to the Big Ten championship to get beat up. You're at the Big Ten championship.
You
Yeah,
know-
we'd love to be there.
It also doesn't matter who plays in from the Big Ten West to go to the Big Ten East for that championship game. They're going to get murdered.
Yeah,
They're
I mean,
gonna get
I mean,
murdered.
you always say that, and the score
Well,
might
murdered.
the score might end up showing that down the stretch. But usually in those games early on, it's kind of tight. I mean, even Northwestern, who has
Yeah.
played in the last couple of years, and they kept it tight with Michigan or whatever it was.
Yep.
Um,
Well,
Oh, you just never know.
if it's us, you're playing a Michigan team at a different time of year. Hopefully, the next 3 weeks.
well, it's obviously going to be Michigan because they know everybody's plays. So they're
Stallions over there with watching.
Stallions got fired, but
No, well, he said he resigned,
oh, okay.
which believe what you want to believe, but it's. I don't know. I would love to win the West. We have not won the Big Ten West since we joined the Big Ten.
Well, we
Well, we did when we went Riley's second year.
No, when it was leaders and legends, we went to the Big Ten championship in 2011 or whatever it was, and Ohio State suspended,
yeah.
Penn State suspended. So we
Yeah.
beat Wisconsin early that year on a comeback that we shouldn't have
Mhm.
won,
Mhm.
and then they put 70 on us.
Yep.
That was the Kenny Bell block.
Freaking Rain Man over here.
Kenny Bell block. Look it up.
Yeah, I would. I again, we're always positive. I am excited that we are over 500. I'm excited that we have an opportunity to win 3 more games. And
Yeah.
not only that, not only do we have the opportunity, we have every capability of winning 3 more games. Our offense is good enough. Heinrich Harburg, you are good enough to win those games as a quarterback. Offensive line, we are good enough both offensively and defensively to win the games if we hold on to the damn ball.
I was gonna say.
If you have 1 turnover, that's fine. You have 4 turnovers, we will not win 2 more games.
And I want to say the talk this week was just how unconventional it was that we've won all those games in October, being like -2 or 3 in every game in the turnover margin. That's not happened since like, I don't know, 30, 40 years. If ever.
Yeah.
I mean, normally, especially in like close, tight Big Ten games, and you're -3 and you win by 7, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, again, it's amazing that the fact that we're over 500 with the amount of turnovers we had this year is incredible. It is what it is.
How is it that we have 4 different coaching staffs over the last 15 years, and we turn the ball over more than anybody?
Yeah.
With all different coaching staffs.
Donnie,
Have you ever seen the program? Walk around the campus with a ball in your hand all freaking day long. If somebody knocks it out, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Donnie.
I was gonna say, Donnie, I wish without knowing what the consequences are gonna be. It is what it is. I'm not careful with my wishes. There's no genie granting me 3 wishes. Yes, I am looking forward to next year. Carrie, you mentioned excited for next year. Again, we're ahead of schedule for Matt Rule, for his normal processes and how he runs his teams and the expectations. Again, right now, we are ahead of expectations. So
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
I agree.
We still have a lot to work on. Nobody expected us to be perfect. No Husker fan expected us to be perfect. Here's the thing. Look at Colorado. They lost again. Now everyone thought Deion was going to be a great savior for Nebraska. He would have been a much better hire. I strongly disagree. Yeah. He's a coach that's throwing his coaches under the bus. He's throwing his offensive line under the bus. He cares about one thing and one thing only: protecting his son at quarterback.
Yep.
And that's going
to be gone after this year.
Absolutely destroy him.
So then what? And Hunter's going to be gone too.
Yep.
So then what? I know he's like, now we're talking rebuild and this and that. And I know they've had some 4 or 5-star guys commit there. But, I mean, when it comes down to it, how long are those kids going to stay when when you run into a little bit of adversity? When Deion runs into a little bit of adversity and he starts putting the blame elsewhere, like he is now.
Yep.
I mean, how long are guys going to stay? How long are guys going to block for his son? I mean, there's just a bunch of different aspects that, no, I totally side with Matt Rule over Deion, 100%.
Yep.
Even if this year doesn't, I mean, we're already in a better spot than we were last year.
Matt Rule has a system in place that he knows he wants to do, and that's not something that a lot of, a guy like Deion has that system in place.
Mental capability. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. And his
mental capacity.
Again, his thought process is offensive line's not working. I'm going to get rid of all of them and bring in all new offensive linemen. That's not how you coach. You can't do that because even at the pro level, again, we've seen Husker linemen go pro. Again, Nick Gates. He was
terrible.
He was awful at Nebraska.
He was terrible at
Nebraska. He ends up
Nebraska.
being the starting center for the New York Giants. I mean, and I don't get that, but that is the very big difference on a good coach and a coach that is not quite there, and he's there for he's there for his son. He wants his son to be successful, and he's showing that as a coach. in some of the decisions he's making. And that sucks for it. And it sucks for Colorado players that came there to play for him, that wanted to be successful. And they're probably starting to realize it's not about me. It's never been about me.
No. And it is a pretty funny narrative from about a month, maybe a month and a half ago, within a month. Deion's going to be, he's going to coach in the NFL next year.
Yeah.
Now they're 4-5. They were going to go to the college football playoff a month and a half ago.
Yeah. And Sanders was a Heisman front runner. No, he's not even a top 10 QB in college football.
And he's still freaking running out of bounds, so he's running out of bounds on third down instead of for a loss, instead of throwing the ball away.
Yeah.
So he keeps his completion percentage. It's truly incredible.
But we'll see what happens. Here's the thing. We'll see what happens. Good toss. But again, next few years, we'll see what happens. I think next year's going to be interesting to see what we do.
You got him.
Next year's going to be interesting to see how we do, because again, we are coming off a year, hopefully, to where we finally go bowling. And then from there, see what we do in the offseason. How hard do we hit the portal? Yes, offensive linemen need to be something we hit in the portal. A quarterback, absolutely. Running backs, I think we're going to be fine. Wide receivers, yes. I think we still have 3-4 really strong wide receivers, but we're still going to need more. Let's get them in.
I mean, we might have to, do a special during the offseason of just kind of breaking down what players we're going to what players we're losing, what we have coming back, see if there's guys that leave with the portal, guys come in, and just kind of see what we think about next year, the way it's going to look. I think we need to get a quarterback.
Yep, 100%.
Daniel Kalen, I hope he could be potentially pretty good. But the way that they got waxed against Westside this week.
Hey, Westside is just,
and
they're so good. I think Kalen's
still hasn't gone anywhere quarterback wise for Westside. So if we could have him and Kalen come in, that'd be great.
Battle. We need a battle, and we need a transfer. So, all right, we're at the end of the show. We had a lot of people on the show today, a lot of comments, a lot of regulars, which has been great. Open up the NIL books and get us guys who can throw the ball on a rope. 100%. Cornhusker Nation, we need, man, before we do the last giveaway, it is frustrating. We talk about this with my brother sometimes. And what's interesting, you watch other college football games and you watch the quarterbacks, you watch the plays, you watch the defense. It's like, I watch Husker games. Why does it seem so different?
It seems like we're like a JV squad and the rest are varsity.
Yeah. And honestly, it doesn't matter. I'm not talking about even your top tier programs. I'm talking about teams that are not even just anybody but Nebraska. I feel like we're at a slower pace. I feel like we're not playing as well. Like, Nebraska can't make that play. But
Vanderbilt just did that. Or Arkansas did that
beat
against Florida.
But
did they win?
I don't know. They were winning last I saw. But I think maybe it's because we're so critical of our team. Yeah, Casey, it almost seems like it's boring to watch Nebraska play. Is it the Big Ten? Is it our pace of play? I don't know. It's interesting. What's up, Mike?
What's up, Mike?
Jimmy. Yeah, money. Let's open up those books, though. We really do need to throw the books out there. We really do need to open up the NIL money. It's there. It's there. It is there. We got to open it up.
I mean, you got SMU, Utah, these schools that are giving brand new Ford trucks away to every player on the team.
Scholarship player.
Every scholarship player.
Every non-scholarship player gets a ride. I'll pick your ass up.
Or they get to be their Uber driver.
You gotta pay me
after the games.
Yeah,
All right.
I just, oh man, we gotta do it though. There's a lot of things we can do differently. There's a lot of things we can do to have fun. If Missouri can get to almost top 10, 100%.
And Daniel Kalen committed to Missouri. 110% committed to Missouri.
Yeah,
and then he backed out and came to Nebraska once. Dylan fell through.
Friggin' KU football should never be better than Nebraska football. I'm saying it right here, right now. KU should never be better than Nebraska football. I'm talking to you, Chris. It just shouldn't happen.
Tim.
It really shouldn't.
And Tim.
And Tim.
KU might be ranked ahead of Notre Dame tomorrow or
Damn.
Tuesday, whenever those
Yeah,
come
because
out.
Notre Dame got slapped around by 4-4 Clemson yesterday. Pretty rough.
Even though Clemson was running the clock out and fumbled and
Yep.
gave Notre Dame one more chance.
Yep, pretty rough. All right, guys, we got to get going today. Love you guys. Appreciate joining the show. We do have, again, two giveaways. First giveaway is going to be for another hat. So anybody who's commented today, anytime you've commented, your name's been entered into the drawing. So we are going to do our first giveaway, and we're going to do it right now.
I like it.
I think Brian's ready. First one's a hat. Yep. So this is for a hat. Let's see what we do here. We're a little delayed, so take us a second. Okay.
Same.
No, you got a sweatshirt on. You're a bulky with sweatshirt.
I guess.
Like
Almost your mom.
It was.
so close to Mary J, but it wasn't Mary J. Let's see. We got the wheel coming up on our end. I don't know if you've seen it on your end already. No, hold on.
You guys probably see it ahead of
Come
us.
on.
Stephanie Schoich.
Stephanie who?
Schoich.
How you spell it?
SCHEUCH.
Stephanie, you're our first winner of our hat. Congratulations.
Woo!
Woo.
Mary J almost won it. Is that what you said?
Stephanie,
Sorry,
congratulations. We will reach out to you and get your address so we can send you your hats. Congratulations. All right. I'm frozen on mine, Brian.
Yeah.
So,
Tumblr.
yep. And the next giveaway is our 2 Average Guys tumbler.
I don't know which one's better. They're both pretty sweet.
They're both pretty awesome. Yeah, we're just frozen.
Huh.
Hey, Casey, we still frozen? Casey said we're frozen. You see everything, Brian?
Where did it go down?
You see us? Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. We're not frozen. All right, hold on. So, yeah. Ross, if you win, we will sign your shit. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, hold on. Yeah, we can see now. So we got our hat giveaway. Went to what? Stacy, right? Stephanie. Sorry. And our second winner is
What do we get? What do we get? Come on, big money, big money, big money. No whammy, no whammy.
we got. All right, who's our winner? No, I got the number. Oh, hold on. Here we go. And our winner is lucky number 17. Ross. Oh my gosh, Ross, you're kidding me. Oh my gosh, Ross.
We'll sign it, Ross.
We're gonna sign your tumbler.
We'll have to get a white Sharpie, I guess.
Yes.
Or gray or whatever, silver. Whatever.
And Ross, hey, reach out if you would rather have a hat and us sign the hat, we'll absolutely do that. Let us know. Send us a message. Oh my gosh, Bang Biscuit. I love it. So Ross,
Yeah, I don't know, Ross.
Absolutely love
Whatever
it.
you want, let us know.
if you want the hat, we'll sign a hat. We'll send it to you. If you want the mug, we'll sign that too. We'll get a silver permanent marker. We'll send it to you.
And then
Congratulations.
gotta get together, Ross, like we've talked about.
We have. We'll do it. Shit's rigged. Hey, I love it. Hey, listen up. Hey, the hat is awesome. The shirts are awesome. Again, we'll do more giveaways. If you guys are in the Omaha area and you want to come check us out on the 18th,
Come to Backswing, bro.
Backswing Brewing on the 18th against Wisconsin. We're going to be at Backswing Brewing. We're going to do some live giveaways there. We're going to have a couple more tumblers. We might have a couple hats. We might do some giveaways where, hey, we don't have it in stock there at the venue, but we will order it for you and send it directly to your house.
Or just
so
watch the game with us and see how crazy we are
hang out
during the game.
Hang out. We like to have fun. We like to drink some beer. So thank you so much for joining us today, everybody. Absolutely enjoy it. Again, we sucked yesterday. Didn't play well. The refs sucked yesterday, but
It's a sucky day.
we're above 500. We have a lot to look forward to over the next few games. Let's get at least one more, if not three. Ooh, a pint glass, Mike. All right, you gotcha. We are gonna have some koozies at our in-person event at Backswing as well.
And you might be able to win a pint glass or two from Backswing.
We have a grill set with an apron for Huskers.
Grill set?
Hell yeah! So we got some fun stuff coming. So definitely join us at Backswing in a couple weeks. We'll be back next Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the beautiful weather, no matter where you're at. If you have snow, I'm sorry for you. Beautiful day here in Omaha. Have a great rest of the day. I'm Matt.
I'm Jimmy.
We're 2 Average Guys. Go Big Red.
See you next time.
Come on, good game, everybody, yeah.
Pat, I think it's safe to say that all these fans came out here to watch a game of football.
John, ring commercial.
Yeah, I know. I'm just making conversation. Come on. Football!
Come a-running, boys, don't you hear the noise? Like the thunder in the sky. How it rolls along in a good old song from the sons of Nebraska. Now it's coming near with a rising cheer that'll sweep all foes away. So with all our vim, we're bound to win, and we're going to win today.